welcome back to the show today, Scott. I think we have something a little bit special for you guys today, but I'm going to send it over to Scott and let him give us a little bit of a rundown.
Yep, so we're here today at VectorSigma.info YouTube channel to get this spoil a battle card from the Constructicon.
Well, I'm excited.
I guess it's the Constructicon Deck.
Did they name it yet? I don't know.
I think it's just the Constructicon side product of Wave 2 that's coming out.
It's the Metroplex-ish Wave 2 thing currently.
Yeah, it's coming out I think the 3rd or 4th week in March.
29th, I think.
Yep, so it'll be legal pretty soon. Pretty excited for it.
Yeah. So what do you know about the Constructicons in general?
So when I was a kid, I've been watching Transformers since Generation 1, so Constructicons were always the first combiner to me.
Yeah.
They were technically in the first season of the show, the first 3 episodes came out, then the first season came out. So I remember when they came out, and I always thought it was neat that the Decepticons needed this giant combiner guy to take out the Dinobots. That's how the story went.
Okay.
It was the Decepticons were the main offense, then Autobots created the Dinobots, it swung into their favor for a few episodes, and then all of a sudden the Constructicons came out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, the tide shifted. And I obviously, as a huge fan of the 1986 movie, Devastator was the big threat.
The big bad.
That during the massive Autobot city battle in the beginning. So I've always been a huge fan of him from a combiner perspective. I never owned him.
Okay.
I never owned. I think I might have owned one Constructicon when I was a kid. So, and I know my friends that did own him. He was kind of hard to put together because it was 6 pieces and
I don't know anything about these things.
Yeah. But I never had him. So
that's cool.
Yep.
So how do you think they did? How do you think WotC did as a whole creating the Constructicons for this game?
I think from a flavor perspective, it's awesome.
Yeah, I can respect that.
You have 6 guys that are pretty atrocious on their own.
Yeah.
I'm talking about guys that
just garbage.
Cannot survive a hit. Pretty much can't kill anybody on their own.
Yeah.
You want to get in some incremental damage here and there. I'm not even sure that's going to happen.
Good luck.
But as the game goes on, you're slowly building yourself towards this end game where you get to combine. And the best part is not only you get to combine, but you get to combine, you get to heal, and you're massive.
Yeah. And we kept talking about healing as a combiner being such a big deal. So this is it. They gave it to us.
Right. I think it's pretty realistic that you will get to reach the Devastator stage having somewhere at minimum, I would say, 17 health.
Okay.
But probably realistically between 17 and 25 health.
Okay.
And if you really build the deck, I feel to combine as rapidly as possible.
Yeah.
You could have even more than that.
Okay.
But you might have a chance of not having any counters on the tower, and you really want to have 10 when you combine.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. How well and easily do you think you can get these counters?
I think it's pretty simple to get to 10 before you combine. You're a 6-wide team, so it's the first time that you've actually been able to have a 6-wide team.
Yeah.
So basically what happens is, no matter, even if you're playing against another combiner team, you're always going to have more attacks than they have.
Yeah.
And every single time a Constructicon attacks, you get 1 counter on the tower. And you start with 1.
Yep.
So Scrapper allows you to actually start with it in play, off to the side with 1 counter. So you always have 1.
Yep.
You flip Scrapper right away, no matter what. Whether he could die on turn 1 if you're on the draw, if you're going second.
Sure.
Or if you're going first, he immediately flips.
Flip in the KO zone, who cares?
So now when your guys die, you also get a counter.
Yep.
So now you have, when they attack in the alt mode, which they want to attack in the alt mode, you pitch a card, you get a counter. When they die, you get a counter. So the way you should look at it is, I'm going to attack with this guy, pitch a card, and he's likely going to die.
Yeah.
So every single one of your attack phases and turns, you're going to be getting 2 counters on the tower. Which means you really only need to do that a total of 4.5 to 5 times to get the 10 counters that you want.
Yeah.
And then you can combine. The only way it's a little bit difficult is if you have, if they're like if they're a 2 wide deck or they're a 3 wide deck, you may be out of cards in your hand to pitch.
You can draw enough cards.
Yeah, consistently you may not just not have enough cards in your hand to do it right away while you attack.
Yeah.
So that's the only stumbling block that I can see. But other than that, I still don't think it's that hard. Like if they have less guys to attack you with, all you have to do is rebuff like one attack. You should be way good to go. Because if you get to attack with a guy twice, that's extra counters you're going to put on that.
Yeah.
So I really don't think it's very difficult to get to the 10 at all, considering how easily in both phases of the game you're getting counters on your tower.
Yeah. So with that, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
All right. What do you got for us today, Scott?
So first I want to say that other content creators and us all got preview cards.
Yeah.
So we're the first ones. You're watching this now, the morning on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So later today you're going to see Wreck and Roll has one, TCG Rollout has one,
Yep.
and Whilst Plays also has one.
Awesome.
So just make sure you stay tuned throughout the day. You're going to see
get a ton of it.
all the preview cards. Obviously, there's 5 new battle cards in the set. One is the Enigma, so none of us are spoiling the Enigma because that's already been shown on Kotaku.com. So the card we have is called Heavy Landing. So I'll just read you what it does. You can see it on the screen now.
Yep.
It says, do 1 damage to any enemy, and if the tower has 6 or more counters, you do 3 damage to any enemy.
Okay, then.
And it has a blue pip.
Okay, then.
So I think Wizards of the Coast knows my fascination with direct damage, and that's why I think that's why they sent me this preview card as opposed to some of the other ones. I think this card is extremely good.
Yeah.
So
we just went over how easy it is to get height counters.
Right. So if you think about the Constructicon deck in general, I would assume by the 4th attack, you're turning this card on to its best state.
Yeah.
And it becomes essentially like with a blue pip.
Yeah.
So
with absolute 0 drawback.
Right. And unlike some of the other cards in Combiner decks that I've seen as we've been doing some playtesting, this is never a dead card.
Nope.
So when you're Devastator, it's a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Earlier in the turn, it's a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
So there's really no negative to this card.
No.
The way I see it also is because the Constructicons have such poor defensive stats, I honestly don't even care what cards you're playing in the deck, whether they're blue or whether they're orange.
Yeah.
I just want to play solid cards in the deck.
Yeah, and it's going to be as good as you can get with it.
Because they're going to die anyway.
They're going to die, yeah.
So like even if you one-shot stand your own guys, for example, you can still get a counter on the tower.
Yeah.
So I see no disadvantage to running a plethora of direct damage, and this clearly fits into that.
Yeah, for Constructicon only. Now, you can play it outside of Constructicons. Do you think it's good enough there?
Then to me, it's only a blue zap.
Yeah.
I actually thought about whether you could run. It's kind of weird. I thought whether or not you could run Scrapper and maybe like 2 other Constructicons.
Okay.
To get you to like 13.
Sure.
Could you get to 6 counters? I don't think so. Could you get to 3 counters? Maybe if the card transferred after 3 counters. But
maybe.
I think without playing the full team, getting to 6 is going to be too difficult.
You're not going to get there.
Outside of it.
Yeah.
It's not unplayable because it is just a blue zap.
It's blue zap, yeah.
But I mean, you're comparing that to there's a blue zap
that can heal you if you do
in
a
Rise of the
specific
Combiner.
Special thing.
I mean, you can play this just for better art. I don't know. But,
okay.
So I don't think it's playable outside the Constructicon team.
Yeah.
But I think it's extremely powerful in the Constructicon team.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's going to have... The goal is for him to be a 10 damage Bolt 2 character.
Yeah.
So outside of situations where you can, after you combine, you can play something like a Steamroll to really go through your opposition, you're going to need extra incremental damage because you're going
to need additional attacks that matter.
Right, because, first of all, the attacks before that don't really matter.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, all the stuff you do before it doesn't do anything. So you're going to need that.
I think what you're hoping to do is, if you're playing against a different aggressive deck, you're hoping that these little plinky hits, and then you get to 6 counters, and then you're, bam, lightning bolt something and maybe kill it.
Yeah.
Hope. Right. Or, because the issue is you're just not going to have many cards.
No, because you have to keep ditching them.
Yeah. The other thing I like about this card is that I think Inferno Breath clearly goes in the Constructicon deck.
Yeah, because you just tap the guy anyway. And yours.
Because you should have... I can't think of a situation where you're not going to have the last attack phases.
You're going to have it, for sure.
So, and the last guys you're going to attack with, like, maybe
They're
have
not
3
gonna,
attack.
they're not going to deal 3 damage.
Right. So you might as well just tap on them to Inferno Breath anyway.
And deal 3 damage.
Right. So this in combination with that is now 2 blue 3 damage action cards out of hand to targets.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to do it once you're Devastator, obviously.
Oh, no.
But
Don't do that.
But before that, I think the deck can afford to play 3 of each of these.
Yeah.
One of them is clearly before you combine, and one of them you could play either time,
Yeah.
but it'll help in those situations.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine you're going to play a lot of combat enhancing cards, so Devastator's going to want direct damage, in my opinion, is what he's going to want to be doing during the action phase.
Yeah.
Because what's he going to do? Get more bold, get more attack. Like,
Yeah,
it's not going to be as
I don't think
valuable.
any of that matters.
Right.
You may as well just get a value ability out of it.
Right. And because you're now, instead of being like 6 on 3, you're now hopefully 1 on 2.
Yeah.
Or 1 on 3, and you need to be able to survive.
With, 20-ish health.
Yeah, with good health.
A good enough health.
Yeah, and good armor.
Yeah.
And things like that. Like, I'm not worried about survivability. I'm just worried about, can I race?
Yeah, you have to make sure
Anyway.
you can actually, once you get there, to be able to contain.
And I think this card is really going to help.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to talk about for the Constructicons?
No, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the other battle cards that are
Yeah.
coming out because
Yeah.
to me, like, without even knowing honestly that the deck even came with unique battle cards,
Yeah.
I already thought they were playable.
Yeah,
once they came out.
We immediately said, like, all right, well, you can get this. And
Yeah.
then they heal. That heal is what turned me on immediately because everybody kept saying, like, man, we need a heal.
Right.
And then there it is.
So when you do the math, you can get the 10 counters, you can heal the 10. I don't think the Bolt 2 will matter all that often.
Right.
I think just having 10 attack is probably
Yeah, it's okay.
good off the bat.
It's not bad.
And being able to obviously save a weapon, armor, and utility will also help.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited for this team. I think
I'm very excited.
I think they're a quintessential combiner.
Yeah, I mean.
So I think when people think of combiners and transformers, they think of the Constructicons.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it.
Awesome. Well, there it is, guys. Number 1 today. There are 4 more coming, right? 4?
Yep. So
Keep looking at 3.
3 more coming today.
3 more coming. Sorry about that. We're looking forward to it. You need to stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
Heavy landing.